Martina Navratilova very beautifully said, the game of life is not played in a tennis court. The game of life is played in the 6 inches between your ears. It's all played up here. And that's the beautiful part. If you know how to access this, program this, everything changes.
So welcome, Pooja, to your story. And thank you so much for taking time out. So Pooja, tell me how, in 2015, I believe you set up Happy Souls. How did that come about? Why did you think that there was a need to start a company to take care of mental health and well-being?
Well, it's actually a really long story that has a lot of family lineage associated with it. It starts from the time when, way before I was born, my grandmother, Frida Bedi, who was an English lady who met my grandfather at Oxford and came to India to fight the freedom struggle against the British people in India, who later gave up everything in her life and basically got inducted into the monastery under His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and was ordained as one of the highest nuns and has 3 books written on her very remarkable life. Cut to my grandfather, Baba Bedi, who was a spiritual healer, who healed thousands and thousands of people. And I remember I used to go to Rome where he was situated. Later, his monastery, his healing institute was based above Venice in Cittadella. And there used to be a line of people going around the block to meet Baba Bedi and get healed by Baba Bedi. And I think my whole journey of trying to understand the human mind, our consciousness, our belief systems, our energetic bodies, really the fascination for that grew from a very young age, a curiosity more than anything else. My brother Siddharth was diagnosed with mental health issues, and they couldn't quite figure out what it was. And it went from diagnosing him as depressive to manic depressive to bipolar and eventually schizophrenia. And later, when he was being treated for it in Los Angeles, he was a brilliant kid. And he was studying at Carnegie Mellon. It was his dream to be in computers and technology. And he graduated with honors on the dean's list. So it was a very big deal. And he's a super bright kid who suddenly just couldn't function, couldn't perform, was on medication for schizophrenia. And eventually he chose to take his own life and he chose to commit suicide. It's very hard at that point when I'm all of 27 years old and pregnant with 7 months pregnant with a small child to understand and comprehend any of this. But over time, over the last, I would say 12 years of my life, I've been actively engaging in doing courses, certified courses, really in-depth courses, whether it's been neuro-linguistic programming, which is how the brain talks to you, the whole science of the brain, and how it translates into lots of different things, energetically, emotionally, physically. We'll get into that a little later. Doing courses in energy, for example, it could be Usui Reiki, Karuna Reiki, Magnified Healing, Soul Temple, Heal Your Life, shamanism, just covering that whole gamut. Then hypnosis, to understand that the mind, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, our programming, the hormones, the chemicals. And I got into learning a lot about clinical hypnosis and spiritual hypnosis. And all of that really fascinated me. And I tried to kind of make a correlation between quantum physics and Newtonian physics. And Newtonian physics, as we know, talks about us being in a particle state, whereas quantum physics talks about us being in 2 states, energy and matter both. And it was very fascinating for me to find a logic behind the illogic of meta-sciences and to look at how we could best bring incredible healing to our lives, our homes, our finances, our relationships. How could we possibly amalgamate that in a very logical manner? So all these years of study basically kept me in a space where I was always so curious and all the great came together so beautifully. And then I would start, I have a column, for example, with the Times of India for the last 16 years now. I talk about relationships. I counsel people on relationships. I have couples that come to me for what they call happy divorces because they want to have a happy divorce and they feel that I can give that to them. It's all very, it's beautiful as a human being to know you can empower and touch other people's lives and make the most tragic experiences positive. And I think somehow my fascination for healing and seeing what was happening around me vis-a-vis the processes that I was setting forth for people, to see how that was actually translating into very happy lives and very happy outcomes. And that negatives were turning into positives and sadness was turning into joy. And people had coping skills, because at the end of the day, we can't stop what happens to us, but we can certainly change the way we react to them, and thereby shaping our reality. And it was very interesting to know that people were open to new coping skills and mechanisms. And when they implemented these successfully, how their lives changed dramatically so. So, I started doing a series of courses because initially it was one-on-one counseling through all my, the hypnotherapy sessions and regression therapies that I was doing in people. I've been trained, I've been qualified by the California Hypnosis Institute of India, and, done the neuro-linguistic programming courses and was certified in those as well. And then I sort of said, let me take this further. Let me start a series of workshops and empower hundreds of people at the same time. And that's what I started doing. And whether it was the ones that we hosted or whether it was big organizations like Fiki Flow, I've done many of the chapters across the country, EO, different women's groups, corporates for that matter. There was Tata AI, there was Citibank, there was Hewlett Packard, etc. I went abroad. I went to the Global Entrepreneur Summit, and it was just very, very interesting for me. Let me use the word interesting, to see how seeds, just thoughts, knowledge, when defined in a logical manner, therefore to make sense, could so greatly impact human life and consciousness and thoughts. And to see the results of that in innumerable people changing their lives, changing their patterns, changing their belief systems, and suddenly coping very differently with the same set of problems that they've always been accustomed to dealing very differently with, and giving me the feedback post that about how their lives change, and with that joy, with that exuberance, and to know there's gone from strength to strength. I think all of it for me has been so gratifying. And, therefore I, decided, okay, now I'm affecting hundreds of people. Let me go out and affect everybody. And that's why I started the whole Happy Soul startup, which is now what I'm doing.
So what I understand is, Pooja, so now you are training the trainers, as in people who come to you so that they can become healers, or are you doing a one-on-one with people who need that healing?
Okay, so
what does happen?
So I started off with one-on-one. It went on to doing hundreds of people in a room, just normal people who needed help. And of course, there are many professionals who came up to me asking me for me to help them train basically train them up for their particular modalities. Because the thing is, I've done so many modalities. It's also comprehensive over 12 years that I've packaged it into one really tight capsule. And most people tend to do just one thing. So either they'll do only Reiki, or they will do only magnified healing, or they will do only hypnosis, or they will do only neuro-linguistic programming. I tend to do everything and amalgamate bits of everything into my courses, right? Because what in that 1 hour or 2 hours, or for that matter, sometimes I do 2-day courses, what of this 12 years of experience in a 1 hour, 2 hour, or 2-day course would actually create the maximum impact so as to make people their best, right? So that was one part of something that I did. Then I decided I needed to make it bigger. The thing is, when I look around me and I see the world filled with so much of conflict and suffering and pain and sadness and grief and anxiety, or greed or meanness or cruelty. And I just look around me and I'm like, God, there's so much of suffering. So either I can choose to complain, why is the world like this? The world is full of suffering. But I'm not I'm not a critical person. I mean, I'm critical, but I'm not the person who bases a life in criticism. I focus on solutions. And to me, the idea was therefore to go out there and change that reality, because it's like a ripple effect. And if I'm happy, I'm spreading happiness in my home. If I come home tired, irritated, exhausted, I'm snapping at people, automatically by virtue of that, everybody will be sort of really exhausted, tired, irritated with me, angry, stressed out, because I'm spreading that. So here was a wonderful way for me to reach out there and start changing people's lives on a much larger scale. So I decided to start what was called Happy Soul as an e-commerce website. So that came next for me, which is basically, there's only one puja, and one puja can only touch so many people. So let me start a website where I empower people on all levels, because healing is holistic, wellness is holistic. You have to see the whole person in totality. There's this wonderful lady called Louise Hay. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of her. And she basically talked about the correlation between your mind, emotion, and disease, and how every single specific thought process that we have leads to a specific emotion, right? So say, for example, somebody sees a dog and feels great love, or somebody sees a dog and feels great fear, right? So that specific thought based on your experiences and your programming will basically associate something with a particular emotion. those emotions, especially if they're negative, stay embedded into you, especially if they're chronic. So chronic fear, chronic anxiety, chronic stress, etc., goes to very specific parts of your body. And when you study these sciences, and you kind of have people who come to you for healing, and then you start explaining to them the science of their body and how the thoughts they think translate into the diseases that they currently have, is an eye-opener for them. It's an eye-opener for me so many times when I'm diagnosing people just based on their illnesses. And I can tell them what's emotionally wrong with them because therefore I know what's caused it. And to see the look on their faces, how did she know kind of look, you know, and I keep telling everyone, it's a science, it's beautifully researched. All these amazing sciences are there for us to look at. So on my website, I have given them access to the best products, because again, what you're putting into your body plays a very big role in your health and wellness quotient. You know, if you eat foods that make you, you know, pull down your prana, your life force energy, is a totally different thing. If you're putting in foods that have pesticides and chemicals and you know, have no real nutritious value, that again will take a toll on your brain chemistry in many different ways. So it's very interesting when you study how every part of your body is connected, and all of it basically starts here. Martina Navratilova very beautifully said, the game of life is not played in a tennis court. The game of life is played in the 6 inches between your ears. It's all played up here. And that's the beautiful part. If you know how to access this, program this, everything changes.
You know, Pooja, today, I mean, since March, the lockdown started happening, and we are into August now. Everybody is suffering, whether they are saying it or not. I mean, things like, is there a depression phase? Like people are asking, there isn't. We are all going through something or the other. What would you tell people today how to manage it, or how to look after themselves in these, because these are really, really unprecedented times. Nobody has ever gone through. People are living alone. Even with families, they are going through a tough time. So tell us, what should they be looking at?
Well, you know, I would say you never know what's going to happen next, irrespective. The lockdown is just another measure, another indicator that anything can happen to you at any point of time. It's never about what happens to you. It is always about how you respond to whatever happens to you that changes the quality of your life and really changes your destiny. You are the architect of your own life. The problem is that most people don't have the skill sets or the tools to take them forward, to help them in such times. They just feel like I always say, when things happen to you, you can choose to ride the wave, or you can choose to get crushed under the wave. The choice lies with you, whether you want to say, I don't have the coping skills, I'm going to crumble, or I have the coping skills, I'm going to be a victor, or I'm going to develop those coping skills and change my life. I've done so many sessions during the course of the lockdown for people, for different organizations and groups. And all of them had the same thoughts, the same attitudes running through their head and mind, where they were speaking the same language about how some of them were very, very depressed. Some of them were very happy because they're spending time with their family. And later it came out that it sounded good to say that, but actually they were now suffering it and just wanted life to go back to normal. And they weren't sure whether anything would ever go back to normal. Some people were terribly happy that their husbands were stuck at home with them because they never got enough time. Some people were really distraught because they were in very abusive relationships. Some people were traumatized because they'd lost their jobs. Some people were happy because they were sitting at home and getting paid to still sit at home by their companies. There was a multitude of different emotions flying through this lockdown. But the fact is, it is not healthy. So the first thing I want to tell people in this lockdown psychosis is get out of the fear psychosis, because fear will lower your immunity. That's the first thing you need to know. A lack of exercise, a lack of vitamin D, a lack of happiness, all these things will lower your immunity. The virus will come, the virus will go. The fact is, the majority of the people who get the virus, it's in and out just like a normal flu. If you see the statistics and the kill rate of corona, it is way lower in India than TB has ever been. TB kills 3 lakh people annually in India. 3 lakh people every single year. Corona hasn't even reached 50,000. And TB is contagious. I'm not talking about diabetes or heart attacks or lung or kidney issues that are not contagious. I'm talking about contagious. TB is contagious, and it has killed 3 lakh people every single year. And you don't see people roaming around with masks and then fear psychosis being trapped in their homes. How can you do the same thing over and over again and expect different results? To get different results, you have to do things differently. And to do things differently, you have to change the way you operate, and you change the way you look at things. Your set of eyes need to change, and that is all programming. Have you been taught to just look at a situation and criticize it? Have you been taught to look at a situation and find solutions? How do you change your programming? These are the things we teach people in our courses. These are the ways forward for people to firstly recognize where the issues lie, to see a bigger picture, to see things in perspective, not just because it's being told to them and now they're being driven under the blanket and cloud of fear. But when they actually look around, there's so many people in my building in Bombay who got coronavirus. And they were all terrified and hyper hysterical before it happened. One person got it, two person got it, they all recovered, they were fine. And it was like, oh, it's just like a normal virus. Yes, it is like a normal flu.
So Pooja, what are plans now with Happy Souls? What is the next 5-year plan, so to speak? What are you thinking of doing?
Oh God, I want to do so many things in wellness. I just, you know, for me, it is so empowering to see how many verticals of wellness there are that I'm getting into. One, of course, is our e-commerce. Workshops have started already. So workshops have been going on for the last 4 years. The e-commerce website, as I said earlier, with all the travel and services and products and blogs and recipes and all of that is up. People can go and help themselves to this buffet of wellness, which is on happysoul.in. Then we have our retail venture, which has also started. So we have an actual retail store. So people can go and they can touch and see and feel and smell their products. And of course, we're franchising the retail concept across the country. In addition to that, we're starting manufacturing our own products very soon, because I think Happy Soul really should have its own beautiful range of certified organic foods and lovely candles, like our candles, for example. There's no paraffin candles on our website. We have candles that are soya wax based, beeswax based, and vegetable wax based. So, you know, people think, oh, I'm lighting an aromatherapy candle. It's so good for me. No, what's coming out is paraffin wax, and paraffin is entering your system, and those are chemicals, that's petroleum. No, don't use that. Please go for natural, good things that you should be inhaling and taking into your system. You know, so these things are there's little changes, but there's such important changes in your well-being quotient. Then, of course, after production, we're going to start our own wellness centers. So actual wellness centers where you can visit to have all kinds of experiences. So there are all kinds of different healing therapies or different kinds of massages, but they won't really be massages, they'll be more therapeutic experiences. Then you're going to have, within the thing, we're going to have our cafes and our I know it sounds really like exciting, but that's just me. I've got all these visions of what I want to do, and all these different workshops taking place, and either vegan cooking or yoga or aerial silk and sound bowl healing and all of that. So wellness centers I want to open. And then, of course, get into my lovely wellness festivals and start really awarding and recognizing the incredible people in the world of healing and all these incredible sciences which are out there who deserve to be applauded for all the incredible products or services that they are offering. And then the verticals will keep growing. So this is currently my 3-year plan.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And are you looking at venture funding? Because right now, wellness, health, etc., is getting a lot of attention.
It is the only industry that is currently, I think, growing still at 30%, maybe more actually now, given the COVID crisis. You know, and the fact is, no matter what, we're in a winning space, because wellness is the future. If you're happy, you want to reward yourself, you'll go and indulge in wellness. If you're depressed, sad, unwell, again, you go to wellness. You know, if retail is not the answer, e-commerce is, we're into that as well. People want a physical experience, the retail is there, the wellness centers are there. So yes, at the rate I want to grow it, I will definitely need funding at some point of time for sure. I will definitely need to have a good investor who believes in the dream as much as me, who believes in growing it the way I'd like to grow it, with the authenticity, with the actual, the vision, with what the brand philosophy is. You know, it has huge potential. And I've already got people coming in to ask me if they can sort of partner with me and do stuff, but just haven't felt, you know, the person who partners with you has to be somebody who's either someone who just gives me the money and says, Pooja, grow the dream, or it has to be somebody who's equally passionate about the world of healing like I am, and has 10 million ideas about what they would like to bring into the picture and how they would like to further it. You know, I want to do the same thing. I want to take the same thing to the UK and do a Happy Soul UK and have the same format applied. I'd like to do that in the UAE, where they're really focused on happiness, and they have a happiness police there, and they have happiness festivals happening in Dubai. I'd love to take the whole concept of the Happy Soul and the whole umbrella that we have in India. And right now in India, it's a very make in India brand, because everything that we have is sourced from the best across India. If we do Dubai, we can do the best of India in Dubai. We can also do the best of the world in Dubai. because it is a trading hub, and do the same for the UK, do the same for the US. I would love to take the model and just expand it around the world as well. I think it'll just go the distance. It has the potential, and I have the energy, and I have the knowledge, and I have let's just say the entire infrastructure that surrounds it, my 12 years of experience, and all the people connected with this incredible world to tap into. So I think it's everything will happen when it's meant to happen at the right time and for the right reasons. And I'm happy to wait. And in the meantime, I'm just happy to grow.
Great. So before we end, Pooja, just, your top learnings through your journey, these 12 years, you've gone through a lot. I mean, you're living what you are, like you walk the talk in terms of your beliefs in health, mental well-being. Your top learnings, so to speak, for other people to take home with them.
There was a period in my life where in about 3.5 years, I lost practically every support system I ever had, which is from the time I was about 27 years old till the time I was about 31-ish or so. I lost the man who raised me since I was 6 months old. He died. He literally moved to my marital home with me and he died. I lost my grandmother. I lost my brother. I lost my mother. I lost my dog. My marriage broke up. And in the middle of that, I was having 2 children. So, at some point in time, I was like, okay, God, can you stop? Because every 6 months, something seriously dramatic was happening in my life. And I could have crumbled. I could have said, why me? And done that whole drama and, done the victim mode and made it start as if I'm a single mother with 2 small children and nobody beside me. I could have done the drama very well, right? And really, and it would have been valid, very, very valid. But I turned around and I said, hang on a second. Can't go on forever, right? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At some point, it's going to stop. I can't wait for it to stop. But let me focus on what I want to do. So once again, when the wave comes, do you get crushed under it or do you ride the wave? It's never about what happens to you. It is how you respond to what happens to you. I think it's very important to understand that pain and suffering is not exclusive to just you. Everybody deals with their shit. Everybody, each one of us will suffer heartbreak at some point. Each one of us is going to suffer the death of a parent. Each one of us is going to have some sort of massive issues happening in our financial lives. Each and every one will have the same story. It is our reactions that define us. And when the next time something happens to you, don't say, why me? And don't feel it's only about you. It's not. It's every single person's story. And all those people who then decide it's too much for them and then they go into spirituality. Right? My one message, my favorite quote, I would say, which I tell everybody all the time is, we're not human beings here to have a spiritual existence. We are spiritual beings who've chosen to come here to have a very human experience. We're here to be human. We're here to experience joy and to experience pain, to experience happiness and to experience sadness, to experience success and to experience failure. It's normal. It's so cool. It's a journey of life. If a person sits in one corner and laughs all day and says, pagal ho gaya. No one says how nice the person's laughing all day, right?
Yeah.
So you're human. Enjoy the journey. And when your bad times come, that's what defines you. You've grown today as a human being. You've grown today as a person because of your bad times, not because of your good times. Your bad times, your tough times taught you to be stronger. You learned something. And that defines you. So enjoy the good times and really celebrate your bad times because they're there to teach you something. You're there to learn something from your bad times. Everything is a learning curve. You can be arrogant because you have success. That's not a good thing either. So what good was that success? Yeah. So enjoy being human. Enjoy the journey. Thank you, God, for everything you do have around you. My God, anyone who's watching this, that means they have access to technology. They have access to so much. They have homes, they have cars, they have lives, they have family. There's so many people who don't even have family, don't have a single morsel. There's that wonderful quote, I cried because I have no shoes till I saw a man who had no feet. There's so much to be grateful about. And all we focus is on what we don't have. And then we focus on the pain and the sadness and the fear, and we're so scared of everything. It's okay, it's just life. There's one thing we know is that we're born, and one thing we know is that we're going to die. We know when we're born, we don't know when we're going to die. So there's a tiny little journey in between called life. And all you have to do is time pass. Make the most of it. Maximize your experience. And all people do is make a goddamn mess of it, right? Fear, trauma, guilt, pain, suffering, sadness, overwhelming, agony, victimization, this, that. It's not necessary. If you, a lot of people say, I don't want to hang around negative people, I only want to surround myself with positive people, right? A lot of people say that all the time. I don't want to hang around negative people. My orbit, everybody has to be positive. And I'm like, why? Who is a negative person? A negative person is somebody who is suffering, is somebody who's going through a very bad headspace. And when you eliminate that person from your life or shun that person, negate that person, you're adding and compounding their misery, sadness, and pain. What makes you believe that their negativity is more powerful than your positivity? Why do you feel his negativity will infect you? Why do you not assume that your positivity will infect them? Why would you automatically assume negativity is stronger and greater? Why do we give it that position? And if that is the position you give it, that is your reality. That is your belief system. That is true for you. For me, the truth is, I can walk into a situation, people can be negative, I'll walk in there and I'll leave them all smiling. Because I believe positivity is far greater than negativity. All in our heads.
Definitely.
And we need to change the way we think if we're not happy with the way we see things.
Definitely. Thank you so much. And I'm sure all of us are going to be smiling after watching this. And we will definitely, all of people watching this should go and check out Happy Souls. And thank you so much for spending this time with us and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you, and thank you. And yes, everybody, I look forward to seeing you on www.happysoul.in. Have a fantastic day, a fantastic week. Don't fear the virus. Love living the life you have. Full stop.
Thank you.